Dear Father, can you hear me? I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past, cause you won't rhyme with me. Dear Father, can you hear me? I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past, cause you won't rhyme with me.
Dreaming, but I'm still woke. Praying, but I'm losing hope. Standing, but I'm falling slow. I'm all alone, you wouldn't know. Picture me rolling, got them bands on me.
Shout out to dads everywhere. I'm Lennox's dad, James.
I'm JV and Devin's dad, John.
Welcome back to another episode of Present Pillars. So we began this movement to highlight all aspects of fatherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you don't take anything from this show, remember this: the best dad you can be is a present dad. Today, our guests are the best father-son multimedia duo in Southwest Michigan. You guessed, it's D'Myron Guidry and his dad, Diandre Hureskin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, that sounds good, bro.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah.
Great.
That sounds good.
So let's kick this thing off, man. Let's start off with the OG, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Diandre Hureskin, 39 years old, Ben Harbor High School grad, Tiger Marching Band, Homecoming King, Marine, husband of 20 years, entrepreneur, professional. I'm just blessed. I'm very humble to be in this position. Before we go further, I just want to thank y'all, with allowing us the opportunity to be here and speak, talk to the people and speak our truth in regards to the father and son duo.
So, that is dope.
Most stuff. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Let's go. My man. My man.
My name is D'Myron Guidry. I'm a Ben Harbor High School alumni, class of 2018. Best class there is.
No.
I am a new father of my 7-month-old son named Kylan. I am a entrepreneur. I have my own company, a multimedia company, specializing in videography and photography. I guess that's it.
That's good, man. That's good. That's great stuff. So, how many kids? You said you got one kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many? What about you, sir?
Man, I got enough, bro. I got enough. Kids-wise, I have 2 kids in the home, and I also have adult children as well. Well, adults, including D'Myron. But I'm done. Shoot, I'm tired of it, bro. So yeah, enough. Say about 5, 6 kids. There's possibilities, If you knew my story, you will understand. If you don't judge a book by its cover. Just open it up and you can read a couple of pages. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll understand a little bit. If you want to know more, it's up to you. If not, I respect that as well. But just respect, where I'm at. I'm happy to be a father.
Good.
For real.
And we happy that you're here.
How old is your youngest?
11. He's laughed. She's a girl, her name is Navia. She's the baby of the family. I'm not sure if it's going to lead into the next question, but I just must say that, having a daughter, bro, it changes your perspective of who you are as a man, like for real. Like growing up, I didn't really have like that guidance when it comes to that fatherhood, but she most definitely helped me to understand my wife a little bit different. So I just want to acknowledge the fact that when you have a daughter, man, that just changes the game of being a father. Yeah, 11 years old.
Absolutely.
And she's in middle school. Yeah. Man. Bro. So, we here.
Yeah, she going fast.
Real fast, right?
Yeah.
What about you? Tell us about your young the son.
Yeah, man. Kylan, the character, man. He only 7 months, so he don't do much, but he do a lot.
He do.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But man, being a father, I was nervous at first, but seeing his smile every day, being able to know that I have something to work for, like, you know what I'm saying? I have a reason to be here. it makes me happy every day.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And you got a fine role model to look after too.
Yeah.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
Basically.
Man,
Yeah.
Oh,
my bad.
man,
My bad.
I mean, I call him.
What he gonna call you?
Yeah, reason. You know what I'm saying? Call me what Facebook. No, he gonna call me what Facebook called me. You know, reason or something. I don't know. You know, it's interesting that he say that too, because the same genuine, approach when he talk about his son, like I see that in him. You know, when he have his son, man, to be able to like actually witness him hold his child and to know that his child is only 7 months old and still got that character trait and see certain things he do, man, it's amazing to see you operate. You know what I'm saying? I tell you that all the time. Like it's really amazing, and I'm proud of the father you are at 7 months, because I mean there's no manual to it. The only thing you can do is give your best, and that's what you do every time. So I had to acknowledge that as well. I tell you that all the time. So I'm proud of you.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
What's that?
How was he as a dad growing up, man?
Woo. No, I'm just playing. Man. Great. Like, I sit back and think about a lot of the stuff that I've been through as a child, and some of the conversations and stuff that we had. Like, my dad, he can tell you he want to be a motivational speaker. So I used to get in trouble a lot, like almost every day, elementary school, calling home, suspended, like detention, and almost every time it's a lecture.
Yeah.
It's not just, why you do that, you on punishment. It's, now you got to do this, and it's going to lead you to this, and it's going to lead you. And when I was younger, I never understood, like, I only, talk back. Like, but as I got older, I understood, and I understand now, and I'm still learning to this day a lot. I mean, he teaches me literally every day, and I can't thank him enough. I can't thank him enough.
Man, it's too early to be trying to cry, bro.
No, for real, like,
We just right here.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean it. Now it's funny because maybe about 2 or 3 years back, he pulled me aside. He's like, Dad, I got something I want to say to you. I was like, well, what's what, bro? Like, we there already? It's like, man, I just wanted to thank you for everything that you taught me. Now I understand. That's success to me. Because again, there's no manuals to it, man. Like, you don't have a handbook. You know if you're doing right. You don't know if you're doing wrong. But for him to actually come and acknowledge the fact that he sees some of the things that I tried to plant in him and it's starting to manifest. Yeah, I still remember that day. I cried in the car, but
nothing wrong with it.
Man, that's really dope to me, because just the other day I was talking to my dad and I was telling him that, hey man, I misjudged you on a lot of stuff, right? It's a lot of stuff that I feel like you should have handled this way, you should have handled this way, right, man? I felt like I was looking at him as real. I wasn't looking at him as human, kind of, right? Mm-hmm. He had his own upbringing, and that was his response, actually. He was like, you have no idea, like, the stuff that I had to deal with growing up, like, what I've been disappointed by, like, the things that kind of shaped me into me. And that's how I approach fatherhood, right? So now I look back and I'm like, man, I was blessed, right? Because now I have all these things, like all of these blessings, and a lot of it, most of it, just about all of it is because of him, right? Mm-hmm. So what's something that you experienced in your childhood that you misjudged your dad on?
Let's see.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question.
Bingo.
That's a good question, because it's a lot of stuff that I've misjudged. Can we cut some here?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff that I misjudged, and I still kind of, like, today misjudged because of other stuff that goes on in my life, and in the way that I see and perceive different things. But man, just like relationships and my mom's relationship, the way some of the stuff was handled or that I witnessed as a child, as a teenager, the way that things were handled or the way that I seen him handle it, I felt, okay, I don't think you should have handled it like that, or I would feel some type of way, because of the way it was handled. And that was solely based off, now that I'm older and I start to understand, I look back, that was solely based off of what I would see, other fathers and other, boys my age, and see how they will react to different stuff. But man, years down the line, I look at those other fathers that I would compare, these situations and stuff to, and look at my dad, and I see, like, I get it, I understand it, and I feel like a lot of children have that, sort of bad, and I just think it's a process at the end of the day. Something you learn as you go down the line.
I love what you said too, man, about the comparison. So one thing we say is comparison is a thief of joy, right? So, I used to always feel like, man, my dad's not doing enough. Why isn't he here? Why isn't he at my baseball game? So it was a quick segment. I was like, hey, Dad, why are you still coaching? You missed all of my soccer games, right? You missed my baseball games. You coaching all these other kids, and now I'm in the same shoes where I miss a lot of my son's events because I'm with the kids that at youth development. So the whole time I'm saying, I'm comparing my father to other people, but he was present. I live with my dad. I was in his house. I had clothes on my back. I had food. So now I look at, like, man, like James said, I would have never known the things that he was going through until I went through them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to look at the Hallmark, Walmart dads, then it's just not the same, right? Until you are in the shoes, you don't understand it. So that's for you to understand that and realize that no one's perfect, especially not dads and fathers. And now that you are a father, no, our goal is just to be the best father we can be.
Right. Sometimes that's the key too. It wasn't until I became a father that I knew I misjudged him. Because there's so many things through the course of your life, like through the course of your day, really, and being a dad, that, like, man, I really just messed up her life, like, and it feel like that, right?
Yeah,
but
man.
Then you get home, it's like she's so excited to see you,
Right.
like, and they don't even realize that, right? But eventually they will see those different, things that they don't like, and I just hope that when mine gets old enough that she sees that I try. She sees that, like I always say, I've never known a moment of life without my dad, right? I hope at least she can say that about me. Like,
right.
So that's what I find.
I hope my son and daughter can talk to me and think of me the way you talk about your dad. I think that's extremely dope. You know what I mean? Like, to have you guys with this camaraderie, father-son deal. I think you could feel it. Like, it's real. It's not fake. It's not scripted. It's extremely organic, and I love it. And I'm like, damn, I can't wait to call my son after this.
And that's
motherfucker better answer to it.
and it means a lot though, because, like, it's unfortunate though, especially in the Black community. Like, you're not looked at as a good. I hear you using choice words, but let's just be real. You're not looked at as a good dad. If you can't afford the Jordans, or, you know what I'm saying, all the name brands, and you can't provide and do all the things you want to do. And so then now you're judged at the lack thereof, right. But I come to realize that materialistic things, they come and go. Time you can't get back.
Absolutely.
The time that to get to this stage, the technical difficulties, you can't get that time back.
Right.
But it brought us to this point, to where we can cherish this moment. So if you are a dad out there, man, don't allow, like, your finances, don't allow you working a part-time job. Hell, if you got to work at McDonald's, don't allow those things to dictate who you are as a father. Don't allow your kids' mothers to dictate on what you can do for your child. Because, again, there aren't any manuals to it. There aren't any manuals to being a good mother. Hell, actually, a lot of them who think they're good mothers aren't even that. So if you can just be the best of who you are every single day, that's success. You measure it differently. So I just felt like I needed to say that, because we do in the African-American community, like, we're judged, like, Black dads are judged left to right. Like, we kicked up and down the damn roads in the streets because we can't provide those things that, the child mom or whatever it is. So, we were growing up, we were doing, like, hell, I found fun in going to garage sales, you know, because in those garage sales, like we're spending time, but then I'm also looking at these homes that damn it one day we're gonna have, you know, and to bring it forward, like that's the manifestation process. And that's literally how it happened. You know, we ain't going to getting to know everything. We literally going to, you know, the St. Joe's and the Stephenvilles and seeing what they have. And we're blessed and humble to have that. And now manifest it later. I mean, like you said, one of the best multimedia companies duos,
Absolutely.
like that's success.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I think, therefore I am. So you believe you're a good dad, you work towards being a good dad, and that's what you did, and that's what you're doing, right? And I think that's, once again, that's why we're here today. We're here today to highlight you guys' success. And so, because you will touch somebody else. Somebody's going to watch and say, if they can do it, I can do it. I can mend my relationship with my father. I can understand what he's going through. I can take a step back and just dream, just think for a second. I don't have to judge them off a situation that I wasn't even a part of. And or I'm only getting one side of the story. Or now that I got the both sides of the story, I still can make a conscious decision to be a part of my father's life. Because like you said earlier, you said you didn't really have a role model father figure. And to know that and to see what kind of great dad you are now, that's a testament of you and what you've been through.
Yeah, well, I had to fill a void. I mean, and my dad was there physically, but mentally he wasn't, because he, you know, he was an alcoholic. You know, so he drunk a lot. You know, I'm talking drunk. Him and my uncle, rest in peace, Uncle Rudolph. Like, they drunk so much to my Uncle Rudolph ended up getting, you know, he passed due to like a cancer, just drinking so much. So he was there physically, but he wasn't there mentally. You know, I'm thankful up until now. Like, it's been over, I want to say, like 13 years he's been, you know, sober. But he's now dealing.
That. That's
I mean, but
big stuff. Yeah.
He's dealing with a lot of those physical aspects though from it. You know, he's had seizures. They went to strokes. You know, walking around with walkers. Like, the communication isn't as strong as it used to be based off what he's dealing with now. So he was there physically, but not there mentally. And you know, Black communities, right? We want to be there physically, and a lot of times we're just there mentally. Like, we're thinking about our kids because we can't be there physically, or whatever circumstances that are there. We're absent physically, but mentally, like, we're thinking about you all the time. So that's part of that judgment that you was talking about, you know, or that I was talking about. Like, don't judge. You can't judge that book. Right. So he was there physically, but he wasn't there mentally. So I had to fill that void to make sure I was
too. It'd be the stress, like the stress of a Black man, or stress of a father in general, having to work 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that you have the Jordans and then now you're taking yourself away from being present.
Yep.
And that's the daily struggle that we deal with, because honestly, just statistically, we are the best fathers, right? Let's just put that out there. I'm the shit, and then y'all are too.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have to get away from and that's the hardest part, because society says that your kid needs this, this, and this, and in reality, they just need you around.
Yeah.
That's it, right? They need the guidance, they need the love, and they don't need the Jordans. My kids love Ninja Turtles growing up. Go in the store and buy whatever you want to. Right?
It seems like it's the value system that's messed up. Like, so we overvalue the material things, but the presence, right? Even mentally, it's undervalued. Like, people think, oh, well, if you can't buy this, then what you say, right? But that's something I feel like we have to get away from as a people, like you've been saying, because what?
Yeah, we have to.
And I do want to say something too. We talked about the videographer. What made you pick up? I know you had what made you? Because I've known Guidry for a while. I just found out that we're cousins of a cousin, something like that, right?
Yeah.
But what made you pick up and be this dope and a videographer? Okay, let's talk about that.
So, my dad had this music group back in the day. I'm not gonna say how long, but he had this music group back in the day, and they shot their first music video here in Benton Harbor at Benton Harbor High School in Silver Beach. And the videographer stayed with us, like, at our house. He wasn't from here. I think he was like from the Grand Rapids area or something like that. But he stayed with us, so I was able to see the behind the scenes, him, you know, charging up the batteries and dumping the footage and editing and color grading and actually preparing to do the video. And then to see the final outcome when the video was actually complete. I was like, yeah, I want to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And so like I seen, and I still remember like to this day, I remember sitting next to him on the couch, like over his shoulder, watching him edit on the computer. And now that I think about it, that was kind of weird, but it was. But I mean, I was intrigued, and I was 12, 13, maybe 14 years old at the time. So yeah,
That's close to when you met John, then, right?
yeah. Around
TC. Never known we some type of kin, right?
No,
What about you? Like, how did you get into it?
I actually went to school. So I have a bachelor's in internet marketing. Okay. And the photography and videography side, so I was, working at the Inner Harbor Shores, just playing around with cameras, and it just picked off. It's a blessing to be where I'm at when it comes to reasons to share. Because again, my end is marketing, advertising, promotions. I haven't even tapped into that side of things. Wow. So for me to be, again, this powerhouse and you reference it to be that's humbling, because that's not even what my plans were. It by far was not what I'm doing now. So just playing around with it, and God said, this way I'm how you do.
Because that apple did not fall far from the tree.
Man, but the thing about it, though, it's kind of like a history thing. I think about it, because my cousin, Toy, your cousin, you know what I'm saying, she do photography. My Uncle Greg.
Toy, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You told me.
Yeah. My Uncle Greg do photography. My Auntie Tashi, she does photography. But the most influential photographer was, rest in peace to my cousin, Henry. Henry was really why we all started doing it. He was Floyd Mayweather's personal photographer up until he passed. So from when Floyd Mayweather was starting off in Grand Rapids fighting with the Golden Gloves up until, my uncle passed. If my uncle wouldn't have passed, he would still be ringside. Wow. Doing Floyd Mayweather photos. So to see him watching Floyd Mayweather fights and seeing my cousin that's Henry, and then seeing a lot of the aftermath of it, that's really what got it started. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the history there.
So how was it seeing, because it's hard to go on YouTube, type in Ben Harbor music, right? You're going to see Director D. Guidry everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere, right? So how does that feel for you?
Man, I'm proud as hell. I can't even lie. Because with him saying me doing music, I would do a Google search on myself, reads and all that stuff. But I'm so damn proud. I'm proud. I'm super proud. He know that, and I know it's business. The only thing that, I have is when I'm showing my coworkers, the professional side, they always got to judge. And the type of artist that he's working with, you can't listen to everything from 9 to 5. But to put D. Guidry, or to put D and then the G and his name pop up automatically, shit. Okay.
The way it's spaced out.
Oh, man,
that's cold.
Speaking of that.
What you mean?
If you listen to our intro music, he recorded that. He produced that, right? Yeah. That's the dopest shit ever. So when it plays, just know that that's his song. That's what he recorded. It's extremely dope. So give me y'all shout out y'all hashtags too, man. Shout out your socials, so people can follow you, man.
Yeah, so you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Man, you do your thing,
do the thing.
Do your thing.
No, but follow me on Instagram at Director D. Guidry. Subscribe to my YouTube at Director D. Guidry. I will give out my Facebook, but that's kind of personal. However, it's just my name, D'Myron Guidry, if you want to go add me on Facebook. Yeah.
Cool. Well, same with him. You can find me on Facebook. Y'all know who I am, but that sounds good, didn't it? That sounds like real. Hey. No, but find me on, when it comes to my business, though, Reasons to Share, you can find me on Facebook at Reasons to Share, Instagram at Reasons to, YouTube, Reasons to Share. You can actually go and leave a comment, a review, or 5 stars on Google, because I am now on Google as well, and pop up. That's one of them dope things. So when I see your name, and then it's a reflection, so I'm proud of you. But reasons to share. Everybody got their reasons to share. So ask yourself, what's your reasons to share, and then you can find me. Seriously. So
I gotta come up with a tagline.
You gotta come up with a tagline.
Can you say that again?
Dope.
Say that again.
That was dope.
I didn't notice he
that was dope. Hey, look. Hey, I'm in awe. I'm in awe.
Yeah. Ask yourself, what's your reasons to share? If you look at any of my posts, I always end, ask yourself, what's your reasons to share? Shouts out to my wife, who also helped me out with that tagline. But I mean, ask yourself.
They went at home every time.
It's it's always someone in the background, man. We just celebrated 20 years on the 22nd, so 20 years of marriage. We were actually going to do this interview, do some other things on this past Saturday. It's like, nah, bro. So shouts out to my wife, Natalie. Like I said, 20 years, but yeah.
Shout out to moms, man.
Yeah. Man, it's been dope, man. I don't even know if we at the end of it, but I'm happy. Like, y'all allow this platform, man, to just have a candid conversation, man. Again, men, we don't have the platform to speak. We don't just have the opportunity to talk, man. Like, and when we talk, it's a pride thing. We don't talk because it's pride, and then when we do talk, we looked at as weak-ass individuals, and we're not that.
And that's why we created this. We found out when we talk to men, we talk about money, sports and women.
At the end of the day.
It's all surface level bullshit, and we're not getting to the heart of the issue. It's about fellowship, finance, advocacy, and health.
Mental and
if we're not talking about these things, then I don't want you around me. And as a black man, we need to be talking about these. As a black father, it's a definite. We need to be talking about these things because we should affect the next generation of young fathers. Right?
Even back to the beginning in the intro, we talked about all aspects of fatherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's always all three. Always all three. So
yeah. Well, I'm thankful, man. Like, the good, the bad, and ugly. Like, it's your makeup at the end of the day, man. It's your makeup. Hell, the baby mama go through good, bad, and ugly. Hell, if you think about it, a lot of the bad, a whole lot of the damn ugly, and you just get caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? So, you can have the good, the bad, and the ugly as well.
It was the way he turned to the camera.
Look at me, I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain.
You have to know that.
But I do want to once again thank you guys for coming on the show. But I would love some advice. Give some advice to your younger self about fatherhood. So, because impact somebody. Somebody's going to see this portion and they're going to be like, man, I'm going through that right now. And I'm glad you gave me that advice. You too. You know what I mean? Because you want to affect the young father. There's young fathers out there that you can impact right now. They can still do business and be a great father.
And they need to hear it.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to sit up a little bit, right? Because I think it's important. Like, I had my first accusation of someone saying they're pregnant by me at the age of 14 years old. I'll never forget this day, man. I was a freshman on the basketball court. And at the time, my stepdad, then principal Greg Montgomery, came and pulled me off the basketball court and put me in a little back room right down by the little dungeon area and told me that I had to get out my uniform because it was a girl who said that they was pregnant by me. Now, I'm thankful that didn't happen, but damn it, I had to experience that, right? I had to go through high school, one homecoming king, and because I had a child when I was in high school, I was never able to run for Mr. Ben Harbor. I was never able to run for Mr. Blossom Time because if you got a child, that's not a good image. I'm thankful that 18 years later, my son was able to run for Mr. Ben Harbor. I was able to experience going to find him an outfit and a tuxedo, and then he turned around and first runner up to Mr. Blossom Time to be able to experience those things, through him. So I say this, right? Don't be so quick to get your nut, man. Like, if we're going to be real, that feeling can cause a whole world of pain. Like, for real, especially if you are intertwining with someone that you don't even know anything about and you have to experience a lifetime with them. You don't want to get caught up in the Berrien County court systems because they'll eat you up. They'll eat your paycheck up. They'll take away your license. They'll put you there. You don't want to experience any of that. So if I was to tell my young self, I would tell myself to slow the hell down, right? Slow down. Instant gratification will only get you as far as your phone will allow you to. And when that go dead, you straggling around. You either have your instant gratification or you focus on your delayed reaction. Think about the delayed reaction. Think about what the consequences or the circumstances could be down the road. So here we is, my son, 20 plus years old. I'm thankful that I've been able to be in his life. But if you are thinking about any of that, I would have you second guess it.
Yeah.
Hard act to follow, huh?
Yeah, that is hard. But I mean, I'm gonna give
at the edge.
I'm gonna give but no, I'm gonna give a little piece of advice to the young fathers. Man, let's go back to I think Mr. John here said that finding that balance between time, being present, being a present father is the most important thing you can be. Being there. I personally struggle with finding that balance with being there for my son and being successful, being a successful Black businessman, and upholding that image for my son. Although he's only 7 months, it's still a very hard battle that I face to this day. So being present, like the intro says, if there is nothing else that you take from this podcast, please be present in your child's life. Yeah.
Well said. You can sit back now.
All right. President Pillars.
Yes, sir.
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap. Is this camera on me?
What's up, Pops? What a dope episode today. We had Diandre the entrepreneur, D'Myron the entrepreneur. Diandre the videographer, D'Myron the videographer. Like father, like son. If our children are affected by the sins of the father, a father's counsel is needed to prevent the sins of the son. Fathers, remember, you reap what you sow, and that apple will not fall far from that tree. All love, family.
Hey guys, remember to like,
subscribe,
and ring that bell
for notifications on our next episode.
I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past cause you won't rhyme with me.
Dreaming about a